Calaroga Shark Media.
Yo, what's up? Johnny Mac with your daily comedy news. Kathryn Hahn guest hosted for Jimmy Kimmel, and she said, "I've had an amazing time. I totally get why Jimmy does this 3 months out of the year." Jimmy's got a sweet deal. Even Johnny Carson didn't get the entire summer off. Oh, let's start with the pink news. You're home for pink news, I guess. Their headline, Netflix faces backlash after trailer for Joe Rogan's comedy special drops. Okay, pink news, I'll bite. The pink news writes, releasing a far from informative 30-second trailer. That's fair. I mentioned that yesterday. There's no jokes in the trailer. I chose not to play the audio for the trailer because it doesn't add anything. The streaming service announced that the comedian's first stand-up special on the platform in 6 years will be called Burn the Boats. Okay, what is the backlash? Well, they found some people on Twitter. You can find people on Twitter who don't like anything. One social media user wrote, I'm not at all surprised by Netflix continuing to give the absolutely worst people a platform. Well, I could give you a list of names of people who have specials on Netflix, and it's a pretty diverse group of comedians. Some you might like, some you might not like. Another person called Joe Rogan's comedy special, which comes out in August, disgusting. Again, there's no clips in the trailer. How do you know it's not the most progressive comedy special you've ever heard? Can we at least see it first? Another commented, F yeah, can't wait to hear what poor or undeserved communities are annoying him. That's the backlash against Joe Rogan. Stay tuned. Hey, I like backlash. It's good for content. Today, I don't need content. There's plenty. Sam Morill's new special. And boy, I hope you like Sam Morill news, because I seriously was doing the show prep today and chopped up Sam stories. I have a Sam story almost every day into late next week, and that doesn't even include the Sam stories I slept for when I have a travel day coming up in the future. There's a lot of Sam. He spoke to Deadline. And I'll tell you what I think of Sam's special in a second. Sam, how you feeling about your new hour? Sam said, I feel pretty good. You never know until it's out how people feel about it, but I feel better about this special than my last one by a pretty good amount. Why is that, Sam? I had way more time to tour with this one. Last time I rushed it a little bit. Also, it was just a weird time. I went from putting out an airtight special, I got this, on YouTube, and then COVID hit and I was rusty and I didn't want to lose my mind, so I ended up doing a special on rooftops and I was still pretty rusty. I toured a bit after that, but it took a while to get the mojo back, and then I put one out on Netflix so I could tour with a new hour in the fall. And that's what became this. That was 2022, so I put out 3 specials in 3 years, which I think is a little too much. Sam, is there an underlying theme to this new one, which is called You've Changed? Sam said. I unfortunately never have a theme, really, or at least I don't start with a theme. Sometimes one emerges. I always admire someone like Colin Quinn, who's like, this one's the Constitution, this one's the history of the world. I think it's awesome, but it's not how I write. I'm learning how to write in chunks a little more. I've become a little more obsessive. I think it's because of my ADD. I think most comics have ADD. It's like your mind has to wander a little bit, but then you become weirdly obsessive on certain topics. At least that's how I am. So I'll find something that I'm hooked on, and that'll give me a few more minutes of material. Time out. Wait. Do I sometimes get obsessive on things like, I don't know, Joe Coy or Bob's Burgers or menus? And I'm not a comedian. Sam says, I once saw Dave Attell do a late-night set on Conan back in the day, and he did a joke up top. It killed. He goes, I've proven I'm funny, and then he did his stuff. I kind of think every comic is thinking, just prove you're funny. I did a few dating jokes, a quick travel story, and then it was off to the races. You kind of do whatever you want once you prove it, but I think any social commentary, I want to usually be at least 10 minutes in before I want to earn it. All right, so I watched Sam's special, and it is one of the best of the year. I'll give you my updated list in the other side of my review of Hannah Berner. But Sam, a very strong special. I laughed out loud a few times. I've mentioned on this podcast before, I'm a psychopath who usually doesn't laugh at comedy. He's a great storyteller, and there are some good head fakes, which I find that I like in a joke. So you think you're going down one road and there's a sharp right turn. That's where the laughs come from. I also watched Hannah Berner. Pajibi reviewed it. Emma Chance was the writer of the article under the headline, We Write at Dawn, comedian Hannah Berner is the most annoying girl you know. This by Emma Chance. Emma Chance writes, if you've never heard of Hannah Berner, you've probably never seen Summer House or scrolled TikTok until your retina's bled, so I salute you. If you have heard of Hannah Berner, you're probably not her biggest fan. She was on Summer House for 3 seasons, during which she made enemies of almost everyone except Paige and Clara, the former being the co-host of her podcast Giggly Squad. Her trajectory was that of former tennis pro turned podcaster turned stand-up comedian. Hannah said, I've always really liked reality TV, but doing it left a bad taste in my mouth. She stumbled into stand-up when she did a live recording of her then podcast, Burning in Hell, at a comedy club. I did 10 minutes of stand-up, which you're not supposed to do in front of 300 people your first time, but ignorance is bliss. At the end of my show, my reality TV friends were like, ooh, this is what you're meant to do. Her Netflix special, We Ride at Dawn. You know, Netflix, they keep giving specials to horrible people like Joe Rogan and Hannah Berner, right, Pink News? Yeah, see what I did there? That's what I did there. You see? You see how this works? Hannah Berner's special covers her mental health, her older husband, unrealistic sex scenes in movies, and other hot takes about pop culture. She describes her sense of humor as female locker room, where the girls are like, thank God she's saying these things, and the men are like, I actually learned some stuff. Translation, she's the most annoying girl you went to high school with, the one who said she didn't identify as a girl's girl because girls love drama and boys are so much more chill. All right, Johnny Mac, did you like this special? No! Here's my impression of the special. Ladies and gentlemen, Hannah Berner. Hey, everybody. Woo! I have a premise to set up here. Woo! Why did the chicken cross the road to get the other side? Woo! Oh, my goodness. Tell a joke. Crowd, let her tell a joke. I bailed. Now, my daughter, who is in the target audience for Hannah and was looking forward to the special, she came downstairs and told me it started a little slow, but the back half of the special is really good. So daughter liked it a lot, and she's the target audience. Not all comedies for everyone. I get it. Old man didn't like it. Young woman liked it. So whatever you think there. Not for me, but definitely for her. She liked it a lot. So I guess this is a good time to take a look at the updated rankings. I'll just do the top tier here. I won't do the whole list. So here are the top specials of the year. Roast of Tom Brady, Netflix is number 1. Dave Attell's Hot Cross Buns on Netflix. That's Dave Attell showing you how it's done. That's also on Netflix. Triumph, You Lucky Bastards on YouTube. That came out in March. That's 3. David Cross's Worst Daddy in the World. That's on YouTube. That was number 1 for a little bit on my little list. Dusty Slay back in Netflix in January at 5. Kyle Kinane's Dirt Nap on YouTube in April. A all-time chunk about the Fast and the Furious there. If nothing else, watch the Fast and the Furious chunk. Sam Morill, You've Changed on Amazon at number 7. Dimitri Morton, Netflix at 8. Jimmy Carr, Natural Born Killer, also from Netflix at 9. And that's the end of Tier 1. Hannah Berner did not make the list at all, but again, not for a 54-year-old dude, young woman in her 20s, living her best life. She liked it. So figure out which kind of comedy fan you are and adjust your expectations accordingly. Wow, I'm already long here. Scott Beckett, friend of the show, had sent me this Jerry Seinfeld thing. I had this here, Scott, but I'm going to bump that to tomorrow, so this one isn't 20 minutes long. A lot of news going on. Ellen DeGeneres on one of her recent stand-up shows that wasn't canceled. In case you missed this, she recently canceled a couple dates. Johnny Mac is speculating that perhaps, possibly, it could be a situation where, who knows, you never know. Maybe the ticket sales were a little light, and Ellen was like, oh, I have a cold. You never know. Shows get canceled for all kinds of reasons. But she did perform at the Luther Burbank Center for the Arts in Santa Rosa. One fan asked Ellen, would she return to movies after the tour ended or perhaps try her hand at Broadway? Ellen said, no. Quite matter-of-factly, this is the last time you're going to see me. After my Netflix special, I'm done. And she apparently doesn't mean done with comedy. She means done with showbiz. Another fan asked Ellen to once again voice Dory from Finding Nemo. And Ellen said, no, I'm going bye-bye, remember? During the Santa Rosa show, Ellen said, let me catch you up on what's been going on with me since you last saw me. I got chickens. Oh, yeah, I got kicked out of show business for being mean. She admitted she can be demanding and impatient and tough. I'm a strong woman. I am many things, but I am not mean. I used to say, I don't care what people say about me. Now I realize I said that during the height of my popularity. During a previous stop on the tour in West Hollywood, Ellen said it was so hurtful how her show came to an end. I just thought, well, this is not the way I want to end my career, but this is the way it's ending. I just hated the way the show ended. I love that show so much, and I just hated the last time people would see me is that way. So I guess the last time people will see her is this way. Her tour continues through August 17th. If you're in Detroit today, Dave Chappelle is doing a fundraiser for U.S. Senate candidate Hill Harper. Tickets were ranging from $250 for the balcony to $3,300 for those who wanted to attend a VIP reception. All right, don't forget on Monday, that new podcast, The Artist, A Killer's Canvas, makes its debut, rated R for mature audiences only. I've been doing some writing on that one. Got to the deepest, darkest parts of my brain. Even I'm like, what the heck did we just write? And then I sent it over to Mark, and Mark makes the episodes, and he was like, this is really good. I'm like, are you sure? And he's like, yeah, this is really good. So that's The Artist, A Killer's Canvas. Wherever you get your podcasts, you might want to open up that podcast app right now and hit follow. And that way, if a bunch of you follow, it climbs the charts and then more people discover it. Nudge, nudge, say no more. Know what I mean? Yes. Don't forget, you can get this podcast and a bunch of others, including The Artist, commercial free. You go to the link in the show notes, calaroga.com/plus. For $4.99, you'll get this show and a bunch of others ad-free. Wouldn't that be groovy? If you're on Apple Podcasts, just click on the banner in the app there that puts it in front of you. Plus, if you're on Apple Podcasts, you can test drive this for 30 days free. So why don't you just test drive it for free? You'll get this commercial-free for a month and The Artist for commercial-free for a month. And we're actually going to drop 3 episodes of The Artist for the paid subscribers on Monday. And you'll get this all free for 30 days. And then on day 31, you'll forget to unsubscribe and I'll make $5. Oh, Johnny Mac, you're too honest sometimes. Another way to support the show, the $2 Club. Yeah, you go to buymeacoffee.com/daily comedy news. There are all kinds of options there. I haven't thanked the regulars in a bit. Let me do that right now while I'm thinking of it. But yeah, the $2 Club. You support the show. You send me $2 every month, and I'll shout you out every now and then. Boy, it was hard to get into the Buy Me a Coffee back end. The captcha was brutal today. Hey, can you identify any squares with a motorcycle in it? I did it a million times. So let's thank some people who have supported the show. Ellen, Yvonne, Aaron, Becky, Scott, Liz, Travis, Crosby, and the members, Tommy, Andrea, Gary, Shannon, Mike, and Kenny. Kenny, I was thinking of you again recently. I was back at that Starbucks in California we sometimes email about. I find myself at that one a lot, and I think of you every time I'm there. I hope you're doing well. Shrek 5 is officially a go. It will star Mike Myers, comedian Eddie Murphy, and Cameron Diaz. It's 25 years after original Shrek. Don't get online just yet. It's not out until July 1st, 2026. The Committee to Protect Journalists have announced that John Oliver will host their 2024 International Press Freedom Awards. These are in New York City, November 21st. That's on the other side of the election. That could be fun one way or another. In a press release, John Oliver said, "I'm delighted to join the Committee to Protect Journalists on the biggest night for press freedom, to champion journalists during harrowing times for democracy as they are threatened or taken for granted." In an interview with the Hollywood Reporter back in April, John Oliver reminded us that his show is not journalism. He said, "We might commit sporadic acts of journalism in the process, but those would be outliers. The vast majority of the time, we're relying on journalists' work to aggregate stories. Without them, we just couldn't do it." If you're on 800-Pound Gorilla's YouTube channel tonight at 7 p.m. Central Time, Jen Fulwire's Maternal Instinct will premiere. This weekend, I have an interview with the guys from 800-Pound Gorilla. It's already in the can. I did not ask them why they release things at Central Time. I wish I had. Oh, well, that's your comedy news for today. See you tomorrow.